Enjoying song.
This documentary is made purely based on observations. Our reporting is unbiased, and we have been doing this through our 4-day stay at Batu Caves during Thaipusam. On average, 1 million people visit Batu Caves during Thaipusam every year. People come in to see the culture, people come in to experience for themselves on how grand Thaipusam gets at Batu Caves. Standing at 140 feet tall, the golden statue of Lord Murga is the third tallest statue of a Hindu deity in the world. With this being said, Batu Caves serve as the focus of the Hindu community's yearly Thaipusam festival. It has become a pilgrimage site not only for Malaysian Hindus but Hindus worldwide. During the week of Thaipusam, we get to see many government authorities working closely to manage and to make sure the devotees are able to fulfill their vows smoothly. Regardless of age and race, these forces assign themselves to different areas throughout Batu Caves to help those in need. This grand event, that is one of Malaysia's biggest festivals, attract local and international tourists as this opens up many business opportunities in Batu Caves. The necessity of certain businesses in Batu Caves during Thaipusam is certainly debatable. Some feels that there should not be any form of entertainment as the devotees would get distracted. The rest has a different opinion, saying that these businesses play their parts in completing the scenario of Thaipusam in Batu Caves. This is interesting because you have people who are selling stuffs, people who are selling things totally unrelated to Thaipusam, but related to the people there who are coming in a mass amount. When there are more people, there will be more shops. When there are more shops, there's more demand. When there's more demand, there's more supply. Interestingly, this supply, these products, these services that have been sold in Batu Caves for many years could be debated whether they are necessary or unnecessary. Eventually, the devotees are exposed to both legal and illegal businesses as they walk by. If you are a visitor who drove all the way to Batu Caves, you might want to prepare a certain amount of money for the valet parking services that are available from 1 kilometer away. Charges start from RM10 to RM20, depending to the distance of the parking spot to the temple. When it comes to business, everyone is forced to transform into skillful promoters who scream their lungs out regardless of race or age to get better sales. Putting aside the differences between legal and illegal businesses, they do share one common element when it comes to sales. Since the number of people visiting Batu Caves is huge, these businesses are guilty of producing potential rubbish in a large scale. Mainly, the demand for food and drinks is high. This results in more one-time use containers, plastics, and packaging materials being used to sell food and drinks. Coexisting between each another, the presence of both people and such potential rubbish cannot be blamed as they increase directly. So, are the devotees, visitors, and buyers to be blamed for the situation? The chain continues. The more demand there is, the more supply there would be. The more supply there would be, the more rubbish will be produced. And this could never change unless you have lesser shops, you have lesser booths selling food, selling things that provides you with packaging materials. But again, that would affect people's lives, people's business. So it is something very unnecessary. Based on our observations, we categorize the visitors into 3 different groups. Group number 1, the people who litter the surroundings of the temple, inside and out. Now these are the people that litter anywhere and everywhere, not being bothered about cleanliness. For them, it is okay because at the end of the day, people would clean it up. This group of people, they are the ones that we need to educate. You might never know who's looking at you. You might even have a small boy or a small girl observing you throwing rubbish, which is saddening because he or she would grow up doing the same, thinking that you have actually set an example for him or her. Group number 2, people who throw rubbish specifically outside the temple as they assume that it is fine to litter places beyond the temple's perimeter. From their point of view, cleanliness is all about preserving Lord Muruga's home and nothing beyond the gates. This group, they prefer littering the streets, the overhead bridges, and wherever they could, because they think Thaipusam is all about worshipping Lord Muruga and to a certain extent keeping his home clean and not anything else beyond that. We can't say or we can't pick them and we can't actually educate them on the spot. We actually tried doing that at one of the booths and we were almost hit by an Indian guy who has just completed his vows, who has shaved his head, and he pointed out to us by telling, "Look, now that you have turned me into a new leaf, what are you going to do about the people, the ones who have done this previously before me, the ones who have been throwing rubbish before me?"
Especially scoping on this abandoned kind of things. Now we are looking at one beside behind us, and yeah, that is what's happening right now. It's in.
No, he just left it over there. He's walking up. I asked him, just take it, uncle, because other people are putting over here. It doesn't mean you can. Then he said, I know. Don't make it a problem. Don't make it. It's not a problem. I'm okay only. Don't throw it over here. Just because other people are doing it.
You managed to get that. I got it.
Group number 3, the people that are responsible enough to throw rubbish at the dedicated spots where rubbish bins are being placed. Undeniably, group number 3 is seen to be the rightful group that sets a good example for the rest. But interestingly, these people face another big issue. The existence of rubbish bins alone could not contain the amount of waste in Batu Caves. Every 15 minutes, each of these rubbish bins overflows with waste products that have been thrown by the devotees. The people now feels that it is fine to throw rubbish at the sites or to stack the rubbish up higher, as they are considerably concerned not to litter everywhere. Being in such a huge crowd, They do believe that this would be the best thing they could possibly do, as the sanitation workers would also collect the waste that are placed around the bins. Though this is theoretically practical, the rubbish would then be stepped on, kicked and moved before they are seen to be scattering at places they are not supposed to be at. Because, in my own thoughts, if a person is to collect those rubbish to the main spot to throw them all, he or she would definitely collect the ones beside the rubbish bin, and that's what I would actually do. So this is a mindset, this is exactly what everyone has been doing in Batu Caves, in a crowded situation where you could not actually find for empty rubbish bins. Again, this is not something that we could actually point out, we could actually say, hey, it's the people's fault, it's the rubbish bin's fault. No, we can't do that. I think it all happens in a chained reaction. So, is the management to be blamed on this issue? Understanding the situation and problem thoroughly, the management is doing a good job in handling the situation. We do hear announcements reminding the public to keep the area clean frequently, though at certain spots, movie songs played by third parties seem to be a little louder.
Murugan enjoying songs.
I think it's not fair to say that the people are not responsible or people are being very irresponsible. People are changing, and definitely people are taking up the responsibility as citizens. Now the problem is, in the temple, you can't contain waste. You can't say that the management has not been doing anything at all. They've been trying their level best, working it out to contain rubbish. We could actually see the management setting up rubbish bins almost everywhere. Apart from them, we spoke to certain NGOs who are dedicating their time and energy to combat this cleanliness issue. Clean Thaipusam.my and Thaipusam Task Force are two of the well-known organizations that have been creating cleanliness campaigns annually.
A lot of people have actually signed up for this, volunteering themselves to actually help out with Thaipusam.
So what are the works that they could do?
You can come, you can take a jacket over here, you can come to navigate all the devotees to actually go to certain places, make sure they don't litter. They take litter bins from here and they set the litter bins around in each place for them to not litter around. So Thaipusam Task Force is actually a coalition of a lot of NGOs and corporations actually trying to make a cleaner Thaipusam. So this is another effort that we see for Thaipusam itself.
Also, there are other NGOs that require volunteers to join hands with them to provide better services to the public.
Your interest to serve people, that's the only criteria you need, okay? Because youngsters, you guys are the one which all of us are hoping for, okay?
Right.
You guys are the leader of tomorrow.
Right.
You want to do something, start today.
But for once, we strongly felt that we could not go by the saying prevention is better than cure. In Batu Caves during Thaipusam, we strongly feel that cure is better than prevention. In this case, we need more people to volunteer themselves to actually help us out clean Batu Caves each and every day, or maybe each and every time you see a rubbish, you pick it up, you be a volunteer, you do things that the devotee of virtues would do. To conclude, our hearts and minds are not the only things to be kept clean during Thaipusam. The surrounding, business ideas, and the mindsets of each and everyone involved must be kept clean. Even though rubbish seems to be an unavoidable issue, it can be dealt with if there are more people willingly volunteering themselves to clean things up. If you want Thaipusam, if you want Batu Caves to be a representation of Malaysia, you gotta keep it clean.
I am stunned. Just now I witnessed something very unusual, very terrible. Any guy who's taught well from their family shouldn't shout to any girl. Okay,